Welcome back, folks, to a brand new video. With a personal request from the President Macron himself, I decided to make a new video. A country that's nearly impossible to imagine without thinking of the Eiffel Tower in Paris or the famous golden sands of the French Riviera. But France has so much more. So we're going to focus on the towns and some of the villages. So here are 25 beautiful towns to visit in France. And before you even watch this video, don't forget to hit that like button because it is free! Collioure. The pearl of the Vermilion coast, the little town of Collioure, prized by painters, makes an incredibly picturesque, enchanting scene. It's one of those places that you find on a postcard. With its royal castle by the sea, its port with local boats, small pebbly beaches, cafe terraces, and an old town with the coloured facades and an emblematic pink domed bell tower. You could say it's exactly what most travellers hope for, especially in the Mediterranean resort, and yet the town is largely undiscovered, though quite popular with the French in July and August, respectively. So it's the perfect size for being on holiday, 5 beaches with its own distinct personality. So I highly recommend that you should try this place out. A medieval walled town on a small hill that overlooks the Ain River Valley, which is 30 kilometers north of Lyon. It's listed among the most beautiful villages in France. This superb fortified village is incredibly well preserved from the ravages of time and a wonderful place for those of you who love old buildings. You'll be amazed to discover the small cobbled side streets, as well as the 15th century church resembling a fortress. And what's interesting about this village is it's very small and you can visit it in about 3 hours, sampling local food, bakeries to shops, which is basically a day trip opportunity from Lyon. Number 2. Menton. Located on the east of Nice, close to the Italian border of France on the Mediterranean. The town is famous for its beautiful gardens, summer villas, and picturesque architecture. Via Fontana Rosa is one of the most well-known villas here, where you can visit the Garden of Novels. The area of Menton has that special microclimate. Winter is warmer than any other cities in the Côte d'Azur, and because of this, the area is perfect for growing oranges and lemons, like the bells of St. Clement's. It's not very surprising to say that Menton is famous for its citrus. And it's not Menton, it's Menton, you stupid idiot. So just picture this. On the beach, with a nice glass of blistering orange juice, and of course, the ocean breeze. Nothing says seafood like the north of Brittany. Cancale is a picturesque port town with a stunning countryside that's famous for its oyster culture. Basically, Cancale is arguably the oyster capital of the world, and I can think of absolutely nothing worse than eating an oyster. The town is also home to some of the best seafood restaurants in Europe and in the world. That's why even Louis XIV had his oysters delivered to Versailles from Cancale. So if you're a foodie and you didn't know about this place, now you know where to go for your food bucket list. Arles, city on the Rhône River in the Provence region of southern France, famous for its short but memorable association with Vincent van Gogh, or Van Gogh. He stayed in Arles for only 18 months, yet during this time he produced some of the most famous paintings of landscapes and real life in and around the town. It's widely regarded as the heart of Provence, an excellent little city with beautiful 18th and 19th century mansion houses, and of course, old Roman buildings. It's very busy in the summer, and all the pavement cafes and restaurants are just full of people. I went in late March, and it was still very busy. The good thing is, it only takes around 20 minutes to walk around from one side of Arles to the other. Next up is Saint-Jean-de-Luz. From just west of the French city of Bordeaux to just north of the Spanish city of Bilbao curls the Atlantic Ocean coastline. Cities have thrived here for centuries, economically based on fishing. But there's another place that you should visit, a smaller French coastal city between these two, which is Saint-Jean-de-Luz. It's difficult to get lost in a small town bordered on the ocean, so it's rewarding just to wander, but perfect if you want to visit in the summer to enjoy the many beaches in the area. So if you like old pirate stories of the past, local delicacies and from distant shores, then choose Saint-Jean-de-Luz. But also take advantage of the local guides from the tourist office, where you'll get an in-depth view of what it used to be like. Located in the southwest of France, only half an hour from Spain, Biarritz has become an internationally not to be missed destination. It used to be the Monte Carlo of the Atlantic coast, but with time, the glamour faded. But thanks to windsurfing and other water sports, the city has been rejuvenated over a number of years. It now is the perfect destination for a relaxing weekend break, and there is no need to rush. The city is fairly small, and you can easily see everything, even on a short visit. One thing worth to set aside is the morning market. Standing proud, the tiny hilltop village of Bisley is a wonderful delight. Also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, anyone with a passion for architecture will feel right at home. It's like something out of a movie. The village is packed with mesmerizing alleyways, vineyards and sunflower fields. Make sure that your detour walks include a visit to the Bisley Abbey, where you will be afforded plenty of sweeping views of the surrounding countryside. This trip is for those who are seeking more of the quieter holidays. The French Riviera is known the world over for its glamour and beauty, but these spots take it to a whole new level. Now I had to put this on this list, especially for those of you who have never been to France. But the focus here is Villefranche-sur-Mer, home to one of the deepest natural harbours of any port in the Mediterranean Sea. You see, the small town used to get a lot more visitors a few years ago, but after Royal Caribbean cruise liners reduced the number of arrivals to the bay, the number of visitors also plummeted dramatically. So this could be the perfect time to visit. Next up is Iggesheim. Stroll through the cobblestone streets of Iggesheim, one of the most beautiful villages in France. A charming, typical Alsatian village featuring brightly coloured old houses and pointed roofs and timber-frayed facades. If you're ever in the Alsace region, then obviously this is the first place you should visit. Located at the southern exit of Colmar, Iggesheim has been ranked as one of the most beautiful villages in France. Known for its unique architecture, its profusion of flowers in the summer, but also for its authentic charm at Christmas time. You will be able to discover in this original village the fountains, courtyards, and a church sheltering a 13th century opening virgin. This is one of those towns where you can get cozy and stroll around and enjoy the view. Ivoire. Ivoire is a medieval city built in the early 14th century. While the police sirens are ringing in my ears, Ivoire is located on the French shore of Lake Geneva, between Geneva and Evian. Like the bottle, but I prefer Buxton. The village is nicknamed the Gem of the Lake. In the heart of the village, don't miss the occasion to visit the Garden of Five Senses. This little piece of green heaven invites you to a poetic discovery of the plants with your five senses. So Ivoire is a magical place where authenticity and history are mixed. Bordeaux may be the world's most important wine region, but the vineyards-filled landscape can be a little monotonous. The medieval town of Saint-Emilion is a notable exception. The entire jurisdiction was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1999. The town's winding hilly streets and limestone houses attract visitors with only a casual interest in wine, winery tours, tastings led by professionals, and gourmet picnics and lunches. One of the most beautiful villages in France is located just 1 hour and 50 minutes away from Toulouse Airport, via British Airways, EasyJet or even Ryanair. Saint-Saul-le-Poupy is a small medieval village of 200 inhabitants. You may be fascinated by the charm of this place, as so many other artists and writers did in the past. The cliffside village is indeed photogenic, with a group of beautiful stone houses with brown tiled roofs and its fortified Gothic church which stands on the edge of the high rock above. So explore the narrow streets and the medieval houses, as this is one of the best hidden gems in France. Dinant is one of only a few walled cities in France. It's a place with medieval buildings and castles that encircle this magical town, which has stood the test of time. Wandering around the narrow streets and discovering the city's stunning architecture is the reason why you would visit. Check out the clock tower and climb the 158 steps to the top for some of the fantastic views of the town and the surrounding area. And for those of you who have watched my videos, you know I do love my rooftop views. And by train, it's less than 4 hours west of Paris, or 2 from Mont Saint-Michel. But it seems like it's a complete world away. From June to August in Provence, rows and rows of lavender plants cover the undulating hills, stretching out as far as the eye can see. The sweet fragrance will tell you that they're there before you even see them, and when you do, it's really quite special. So if you're choosing Provence as your destination, then make sure that you're based between these 2 points. Since 1981, it's been listed as one of the most beautiful villages in France. The church, the old village walls, the chapels, the aqueduct, and the fountains represent an alliance of water and stone. The pastel colours of the tiles and the limestones create a living architectural whole. Today, Musiez has approximately 700 residents, and the core of its economy is focused on tourism and the ceramics tradition, so this is the perfect trip for those seeking the traditional and an adventure. Who can resist such a charming village with the easiest name to say squeezed in the east of France? They say it's the very village that inspired the setting for Beauty and the Beast, 1991. You can wander down the many alleys among the half-timbered houses from the 15th to the 18th centuries, and let your eyes be amazed by the colours surrounding you. Legend has it that in the past, shops right here had to be painted differently according to your profession, such as a baker, a seamstress, a butcher, and so on. So if you're looking for that medieval town vibe, this is a wonderful place for you to visit. While it is not exactly undiscovered, Albi is a town on the Tarn River, in southern France, just northeast of Toulouse, and is one of those French provincial cities that has only recently come into its own as a tourist destination. Now, the change in this city's fate came in 2009-2010, when the area comprising of the cathedral and the Bishop's Palace was classed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So once you visit the cathedral and the tons of museums, you can then unearth all the secret gardens, the staircases and the fountains all around the old town, which is a very lively area. Perfect place for a city break. Perpignan is a southern French city near the Mediterranean coast and the border with Spain. The beach is just around 15 minutes away. Scenic walks in the foothills of the Pyrenees are just 20 minutes away. Or you can hop over to Spain for some cheap shopping in just half an hour. And if you fancy a trip to the mountains, that's only an hour and a half drive, which will take you to the ski slopes. So when you add the vineyards, the orchards, the lakes, the rivers, the lagoons, you realize how spoilt for choice you really are. Plenty of highlights and reasons why to visit this wonderful city. Picturesque Péan is one of the most beautiful villages of the French Riviera. It's known for its medieval stone houses and incredible mountain surroundings. It's very off the beaten path, and two of the ways, or both ways that you could visit is via public transport, but then you need to hike at least 35 minutes to the village. However, if you rent a car, you don't need to hike at all. Trust me, the views are totally worth it. A commune in the southeastern region of France. Now there are quite a few amazing attractions to look into, such as the caves, Saint-Firmin, which offers a fun adventure that is appropriate for any member of the family. Chateau de Gordes is a very old castle in this commune, and it's one of the more beautiful historic sites. Another small area in France, but again worth the visit to escape the hordes of tourists that visit this country. Èze is a beautiful hilltop medieval village in the south of France, between Monaco and Nice. The village is famous for its spectacular views, its impressive architecture, and its stunning geographical location just above the French Riviera. Now, the reason why the views are so amazing, basically from any vantage point, is that the village is located on a hilltop on a high cliff above 1,400 feet above sea level. Walking around the narrow streets of this town is like being back in the Middle Ages. So be prepared to walk up the hill quite a lot, and down the hill on the way back. So in this little town you do need good walking shoes, especially to walk around these medieval pathways. Try taking the bus from Nice, number 82 or 112. Benac-et-Cazenach. One of the most stunning villages in France, and is found on the banks on the river Dordogne. The pretty village of Benac-et-Cazenach spreads along the northern bank of the river and up the hill, reaching the castle that stands poised above the village. The narrow lanes wind up through the traditional white and yellow stone buildings, and it's best seen around sunrise if you're up and about that early. There are plenty of bars and restaurants in the village, and many that offer those great views as you sit and have lunch on one of the shady terraces. So this is a really interesting destination, especially to admire the breathtaking views of the Valley of Five Castles. And that's the reason why it's on this list. Number 24, Saint-Malo. The beautiful city of Saint-Malo in Brittany curves out to sea on a stunning natural harbour that has created some of the best sandy beaches on the Emerald Coast. Rising out of the granite rock, Saint-Malo is a maze of medieval streets bursting with history and culture. Now, the legacy of the dastardly pirates of the 19th century and the siege during the Second World War entwines with the array of arty shops and the delicious smells from restaurants, outdoor markets and the cafes. But it's the heart of Saint-Malo where the stunning Gothic and Romanesque cathedral dominates the skyline. So if you walk along the ramparts, you can see the spectacular views of the town and the harbour. And finally, it's only just a straight train to Mont Saint-Michel. The Languedoc region is like nowhere else in France, thanks to its sun-baked beaches, forested peaks, and density of the vineyards. It's perhaps best exemplified by the medieval town of Carcassonne. Overlooking the river, the town's main lure is a 10th century citadel complete with ramparts and a drawbridge. A very picturesque town to visit. Well, there you have it, folks. That was sunny France. I can't fit all places in one video, but these were some of my favorites, and I highly recommend that you visit them all. That's it from me. Thanks for watching, and as always, be good, be kind, and be careful. Peace.